Emergency Preparedness for Seniors and Their Caregivers. Thank you for allowing us to share our presentation on emergency preparedness with you today. This may be a review for many of you, but much of what we will share today has been updated and chosen to help you as senior caregivers. Our hope is this will benefit you as a caregiver when working with your clients and be a benefit to you and your family members as well. The primary purpose of our presentation today is to help you and your clients plan in advance for any local and/or widespread emergency. Your presenters are part of a team called the Emergency Preparedness Group, or EPG, connected with and formed by Tri-Lakes United Methodist Church. The EPG was originally formed in 2012 after the Wallow Canyon fire, when many of our church and community felt there was a need for a dedicated group of individuals to assist in times of emergency in El Paso and Teller County region. Further, to help educate others within the community on what to do before and when an emergency occurs. Our EPG mission is to do the work of Christ by preparing and educating a network of local citizens to help others in our community in times of emergency, disaster, or others who are in need of assistance. This includes neighbors helping neighbors in times of emergency, in homes, or in a widespread type of emergency. Helping prepare friends, family members, neighbors, and community members in the event of a local or widespread emergency. Overall mindset: ready, set, go. Ready is planning ahead, gathering information, gathering supplies, forming a network, ready with preparation, understanding. Set is situation awareness. Go, don't delay. If it's the right thing to do, go. And go, act early. If a fire starts in your community, you do not have to wait for the evacuation order. If you believe it's time to go, go.
As a caregiver for a vulnerable client, you have the opportunity to help them get more ready by noticing things that you're going to learn about in this presentation to help them prepare. And if they can't come up with the answers on their own, cooperate with Suzanne and with the client's family to help them be more set, so that whenever an emergency happens, whether they're by themselves or you're there too, they'll be more ready to go. Every day when you go to a new client's house, remind yourself of where you are, how to get out of that neighborhood, what the condition is of the people in that house, and assess the situation. And remind yourself. And then use these same ideas to evaluate your own family too. They're going to be vulnerable in different ways, but hopefully all this getting ready will help you out if some emergency really does happen.
Types of emergencies. Here are some of the different types of emergencies we will cover in our presentation today. Medical, wildfire, winter storms, tornadoes, power outages, and human-caused disasters. We will talk about sheltering in place or evacuating. There are two categories of emergencies. One is called one-house emergency, and the other is widespread emergencies. One-house emergencies are those emergencies that occur within a residence or single-family dwelling. Widespread emergencies or disasters are those that may occur over a larger area. A whole community or many communities may be involved and affect many people at the same time. Widespread emergencies are things like flooding, tornadoes, wildfires, and snowstorms or weather changes. A one-home emergency occurs to some type of emergency that might occur to a single-family unit. One house, one residence. This could be a medical emergency, a lightning strike, a tree falling on a house, a gas leak, a fire, but only affecting not a broad region, with a single-family dwelling. Different types of preparation are required for all. In widespread natural disaster emergencies, officials will tell us when to evacuate. Listen to the local news media for updates on shelter locations. Communicate with and support networks are vital. Text will work better than phones. Pre-planning is vital in case phones are not working. Pre-plan a meeting place. And neighbors need to help neighbors if evacuation occurs.
Reverse 911 is different from Amber Alerts. To receive reverse 911 notifications from the authorities, you have to register your phones. You can register up to 5 locations and 8 points of contact in order to receive messages about anything that's an emergency in your area. And be sure, if you do receive a reverse 911 message, that you listen to it all the way to the end and confirm your receipt of it so that they can stop trying to contact you and focus on other people who haven't gotten the message yet. We're encouraging Seniors Helping Seniors to make sure all their clients' home phone numbers and families' phone numbers are all registered with Reverse 911 at elpasoteller911.org, so that when you're in a specific geographic area, people who need to know will all be notified, even if they're not in that area themselves. The Everbridge app is another way to receive Reverse 911 kinds of messages on your phone through a push notification system. And it's great to have redundant ways of getting important information sent to you. It works especially well when the phone systems are overloaded because of disasters. The other nice thing about Everbridge is that it's used in different parts of the country. So as you're traveling, if we ever get to travel again, if there's a problem in the area where you go, you'll be able to get those notifications there too, based on your geography.
One emergency, medical. CPR and first aid training is available through the American Red Cross, and classes are available within your community at various locations, including Tri-Lakes United Methodist Church. Seniors Helping Seniors is not a medical provider. If a medical emergency should occur, call 911. The 911 operator will help you in a medical emergency, and if CPR is required, they can instruct you. It is important that 3 or 4 copies of the file of life be made, so that one can be placed in the wallet, one in the glove compartment, and especially on the refrigerator door. One house emergency, neighbors helping neighbors. Know which neighbor you could call on for help if needed. With the client, design a map of the neighborhood with phone numbers and place this information on the refrigerator door. Suggest placing a key box outside the house that first responders could access with a universal key. Prior approval for this must be done through Tri-Lakes Metro Fire District or the local fire district. See www.knoxbox.com for more information.
If your client has a do not resuscitate order, what it means is that if they have no pulse and are not breathing, then they do not want CPR administered. First responders will always administer CPR unless they have this form in hand. If one of your clients has this form, it's worth a conversation with Suzanne and you and the client to make sure you understand what it really means. Here's an example of what the Do Not Resuscitate form looks like.
One house emergency, home fire. Have a working smoke detector, one in each level, and have a working carbon dioxide detector. The newer ones have a combination of smoke, carbon dioxide alarm. Some are voice, others are tone or buzzer activated. The one shown in the picture above also has the advantage of a Wi-Fi broadcast system that will broadcast to a cell phone or to your home alarm system. Detectors need to be tested regularly, and it is a good idea to change the batteries on the first day of each year. You might have your client place a note on the back of each detector indicating the date the battery was last changed. Many of the newer ones, the upgraded models, are good for up to 10 years, but then need to be discarded and replaced with a new one. You want to ask your client if there's a fire extinguisher in the house, and if so, where it is located. Most fire extinguishers work the same way and are good on all types of fire. You pull the pin, squeeze the handle, point the nozzle at the base of the fire, and just sweep it back and forth. Notice on this picture there's a little gauge on the fire extinguisher that should be checked periodically to be sure that the fire extinguisher is in good working order, is filled and pressurized. The important thing is if a fire starts, you want to get your client out of the house as quickly as possible. Then call 911. One house emergency, gas leak. Natural gas by itself has no odor, so the gas companies use an additive that smells like rotten eggs. If you smell this, get out of the dwelling and go outside or to another home immediately. You want to get out of the house as soon as you can and get a safe distance from your dwelling as you can. If you have pets, try and get them out as well as you evacuate. But don't waste time. Get out quickly and to a safe distance. Do not use cell phones. Do not turn on and off any electrical devices. Do not allow sparks or open flame. If candles were lit, put them out and go. Do not try and shut the gas off at the gas meter. Call 911. They will see that the gas is shut off. But the important thing is to stay a safe distance from the home.
If you're in a big hurry and it's time to go, it's really hard to do that with a client who has all the possible issues that you're dealing with in seniors, helping seniors. So that's why we emphasize the ready part of the program. Talking with your client, looking for options, and you're just thinking ahead so that if something happens, you know what those choices are.
Widespread disasters, first responders, and what to expect. First of all, note that if there is a widespread disaster, it may take a prolonged period of time for first responders to respond to your emergency. Know that there is no longer a register with the county emergency services for people with disabilities. Emergency services not keep a database of people with disabilities because people move away and because it became too difficult to keep the system updated. People with extra needs should identify ahead of time someone else that they can call in case of an emergency or a widespread emergency to help them evacuate or get other types of help that they need. Does your client have a plan, a support network, a buddy, or someone that can help them in the event of emergency and you are not available? Should I stay or should I go? Sometimes sheltering in place is a better option than evacuation. For example, it is often better to shelter in place if there is a severe weather or winter storm advisory, a tornado warning, there's been a hazardous material spill, a law enforcement emergency, or when your evacuation or exposure to the outside can be dangerous or life-threatening. For seniors with health issues, sheltering in place is still the very best option from the coronavirus or other infectious diseases. If you are to shelter in place, hopefully you have planned ahead a little bit. You plan sufficient water, about 1 gallon a day for each person. A good source of water would be to fill the bathtub, or your hot water heater contains many gallons of water that is drinkable if necessary, if power and water should be interrupted. Plan on perishable food items, something that you can eat, because you may not have a stove or cooking facility available, and you do not know how long you will be isolated. Have candles and warm blankets available. You do not know how long you're going to be isolated. If the emergency is airborne, turn off all fans, heaters, air conditioning units, close windows and exterior doors. Have a battery-operated radio available and listen for local instructions and keep yourself informed. Widespread disaster, blizzards. Blizzards and snowstorms are somewhat unpredictable. Some areas may get large amounts of snow and blowing wind, other areas close by may not. Forecasters do a pretty good job of telling us when a blizzard is on the way or how much snow we might expect, but sometimes they may say little and then we get dumped with large amounts of snow. So, if a snowstorm or blizzard is predicted, are you able to get it to your client before the storm hits? Can you stay longer than usual if roads are impassable? If there is a family member close by or a good friend who can stay with your client, that might be a better alternative. Winter storms may last for days or weeks, and roads may be not reopened for an extended period of time, especially in rural or backcountry communities. You might encourage your client, when they hear of an approaching storm, to see if they can move in someplace with a close relative or friend until the winter storm has passed.
Widespread disasters, power outages. Power outages may last for weeks. Refrigeration, cooking, eating, air conditioning may be interrupted for extended periods. Can you evacuate to somewhere else where there is power? Or are the roads blocked and closed? We were living in Windsor, Colorado on May 22, 2008. Shortly before noon, a tornado swept through the town. Power lines were down, trees overturned, vehicles and debris blocked roads. We could not get in or out of the town. For a week following, we had no electricity, no gas prepared. We had to do most of our meals on a barbecue grill, and stores could not be restocked, and we had to rely on what food we had on shelves. The important thing is that a little preparation would have gone a long way. If we'd have thought ahead and prepared better, we probably would have been able to assist our neighbors and help ourselves through this time of emergency. Widespread disasters, sometimes it's time to go. What are some widespread emergencies that would cause us to evacuate our homes and communities either by official order or self-desire? Forced evacuation may result from floods, earthquakes, tornadoes, wildfire, police action, or any event that might threaten life and property. But how about trying to live without power, or trying to live without heat, air conditioning, water, refrigeration, or living under unsafe living conditions? Under some conditions, such as these, maybe we may want to self-evacuate to a safer, more livable place. Hazardous material spills on highways or train tracks could be another reason for forced or self-imposed evacuation. In 2011, this happened in Monument. A variety of different harmful chemicals were spilled. Residents of the community were told they had to evacuate rather than shelter in place. On June 23, 2012, many were evacuated when a brush fire started in Waldo Canyon. It quickly spread to the Pike National Forest, then moved down to Mountain Shadows subdivision. We lived near Rock Rim Division, which was a subdivision which was evacuated. We were given pre-evacuation notice. Fortunately, we had some time to gather our belongings together and prepare for evacuation. But others in the community did not. They had only minutes to evacuate after they were notified. What can you do as a caregiver to assist your client in preparation if some type of emergency such as one of these should occur in your area?
Widespread disasters. Evacuation means go. Things to think about ahead of time. Do you have an evacuation or emergency plan? What is your priority? Lives, not stuff. Has the homeowner already stored copies of important documents off-site or online? What are 2 egress points from the neighborhood? Where is the support network meeting point in case the neighborhood has been closed off by first responders? The roads will be filled with cars. Go to a pre-arranged meeting place. You don't need to wait for a reverse 911 notification to go. If you are concerned, go. Let family members, friends, supervisors know where you are going and where you will be.
The go bag is the one physical item that should accompany the client when you're evacuating the house, because it contains the most essential items to help things as they evacuate. Don't stop to grab anything else. Another part of the ready in Ready, Set, Go is making sure that the client has a container for every animal in the house and their own go bag too, with just a quick list of their vaccination information and vet's phone numbers. This will help so much when the smoke is in the air, animals are acting unpredictably, and everyone's nervous. Things to know about Red Cross shelters if you end up there with a client or even for yourself. They are required to meet Americans with Disabilities Act requirements. They do allow you to bring oxygen. They're required to provide electricity for refrigeration of medication, for example, and recharging batteries. Service animals are allowed. Pets are not allowed inside, but they might have a nearby location for pets set up as a separate shelter. So if nothing else, at least go there and ask questions. Check in with the Safe and Well with the Red Cross people to let everyone know that you've gotten out of the danger zone, and then you can move on from there. We sure hope that all of these preparedness ideas have helped you get your clients ready in case there's a trouble at their house, but also for yourself, so that if your own neighborhood is affected while you're off working with a client and you cannot get back home, what's going to happen to your pets? What's going to happen to your children? What's going to happen to your vital documents if you can't get back there? I hope this is going to help you do all these things for yourself too. If you see any situation in your client's home that concerns you, having to do with overloaded electrical outlets, storage of chemicals, their wildfire risk, speak up. Talk to the client or talk to Suzanne and see if you can make some improvement to the situation. Watch for things like too much dryer lint in the dryer, things being stored on the stovetop, making sure there's a path for walking through the house so people don't trip, and making sure people are just drinking enough water so they avoid those medical kind of emergencies. Are there railings needed or ramps? Sometimes there are community organizations that will help install those for free. Whatever you notice, speak up and talk to Suzanne or to your client and see how you can improve the situation. And because the get, set, and go parts of this philosophy go by so fast, today is the day to get ready.
Thank you, Suzanne, for having us again this year. We hope we shared something with your caregivers that they will find beneficial with their clients and with their family members.
And we hope we can do it in person next year. See ya!